Hello, my name is Rochelle Helbig, and I am the Family and Consumer Science teacher here at Sequoyah High School. And I just want to say thank you very much for watching, and to all the students out there, we miss you very much. But we're glad that you're here, and I want to start today with Playdough Plus is the name of our episode. We're going to focus on child development today, and I'd like to start by washing our hands. That's an important thing right now, that we wash our hands. So we're going to wash our hands today. We're going to turn the water on and get our hands wet. Put the soap on your hands. Rub your hands together. Make sure that you go in between your fingers, on the backs of your hands, down the wrists. Take your fingers and pinch them together and kind of get the fingernails and everything in the inside. You're supposed to sing the happy birthday song or the ABC song. So sing away and then rinse them off. And if you have paper towels, that's the best thing to use. But we may not have a lot of paper towels at home right now, so it'd be fine for you to just decide, hey guys, everybody, this is the towel that we're going to use to dry hands off with today. That's what you need to do at your house. Okay, we're going to start with the Play-Doh. I'm going to show you two methods of Play-Doh today. The first one is the Stovetop Method. And we will start by putting all of our ingredients in our pan. We need 1 cup of flour, 1/4 of a cup of salt. And I do this over the trash can because salt has a way of kind of getting away from you real quick. So I'm just going to kind of shake that, get that level, put that in there. And then I need 1 tablespoon of oil. And I need 1 tablespoon of cream of tartar. Now, the tablespoon doesn't fit in this little container very well, so I know that 3 teaspoons is also 1 tablespoon. So I'm going to use the 3 teaspoon method and get that as flat as possible. Okay, there we go. Wash my hands again, rinse them off. All right. And then it calls for 1 cup of water. You can also put some food coloring or even and this takes just a little while. But let me explain a little bit about what's going to happen each episode. I'm going to be showing you some type of a cooking demonstration each time. We'll also have what's called a fun food each time. Each episode, I'll have a fun food item for us to make together. And I'm just hoping that you'll make some of these things for yourself at home. I'll also have some type of a sewing project. That if you're interested in doing a sewing project, then you can get with me and I'll give you more details. I won't be able to actually do a sewing demonstration in the time that we have, but I can get with you later and get you some more details on it later and help you out. So, okay. This is starting to get thicker, and that's what's going to happen. It's going to get thicker. I would just have it on a medium heat and stir, stir, stir. You'll notice that today I used a dry measuring cup and a liquid measuring cup. We talked about that in my Facts 1 class last fall, that dry things like flour, we use the dry measuring cups, and with liquid like the water we use today, we need to use our liquid measuring cup. Now this is starting to stick. So I'm just going to have to get a little bit more vigorous with it. This would be a good thing for you to do for your brothers and sisters and sisters, if you have some younger brothers and sisters, but this is probably on the stovetop like this, and stirring this is something that a big kid should do. But you can do it for your younger brothers and sisters. Okay, now this is starting to form a ball, and it's getting harder and harder to stir. So you can see it's kind of forming a ball. I just want to do this until there's no wetness anymore. Okay, I think we're there. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the heat. I'm going to let that sit there for just a second and grab some wax paper. Put this out on some wax paper. Then the next part of the process is the fun part, and that's where you get to knead it together. Now this is a little bit warm, so you may want to just let it sit there for a few minutes, but it's not too bad. And so now I'm just going to knead it together, and that's the fun part. Like I said, it's a little warm. I'm going to let that cool down just a tiny bit before I keep going with it. All right, so the next thing is the microwave method. So the microwave method, I have the same ingredients in here. I have a cup of flour. I have 1/4 cup of salt here, but I chose, instead of using the cream of tartar, which you may not have at home, I chose to do the substitute, which is for baking powder. So for 3 teaspoons of cream of tartar, I needed to use 4½ teaspoons of baking powder. So I've got the baking powder in here, and I need to turn the microwave on. I have approximately 3/4 cup of water. When I've done this at home the last couple of times, it's been only 1/2 cup of water, so I'll go slow with the water. And then I also need 1 teaspoon of oil in this too. So I'll put the 1 teaspoon of oil. You'll notice that the measuring spoons can do liquid and dry ingredients. Okay, so continue to knead this. Like I said, this is the fun part of this job. And this will make 2 balls of Play-Doh. Whew, warm. That's hot. Right. So like I said, I have 1 cup of flour, 1/4 cup of salt, 1 tablespoon of oil, the 4½ teaspoons of the baking powder, and now I'm going to put in the water. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of food coloring to that, and I'm going to go slow. I want almost all of it, not quite all of it. Make sure it's not too sticky. Okay. Now for this, I almost got it too sticky. Try. If I get it a little too sticky, which it's just about a little too sticky, I'm going to add just a little bit of flour to it so that I can knead this one also. Okay, that looks better. I'm going to put these guys over here and then plop this guy out here. All right, and then the same process. We just need to knead this together. We're just going to play with this and keep going and going and kneading until we get it all worked together, okay? Now, I'm just going to leave that. So you've seen both of those. Now we're going to move on to our fun food. So let me wash my hands again. I'm going to get my hands wet. A, B, C, D, D, E, F, G. Or you can sing a happy birthday song to yourself. All right. Before I move to the fun food item, the Cheerio bars, I want to talk about the bonus question that if you're watching this right now, you can do this as one of the assignments that I have for you this week. And the bonus question for this week is you need 3 balls of Play-Doh instead of the 2 that this recipe makes. You need 3. So I want you to send me the altered recipe. What would you do? How would you go about changing the recipe to make it 3 balls instead of 2 balls? So now what I have here is the Cheerio bars. I'm going to put it medium. I do have 2 tablespoons of margarine in here. Now you say, some of you I know have already made this because I've seen your pictures. Jenna, way to go. So you know that 2 tablespoons is not what is called for in the recipe. Actually, I'm going to half this recipe. So if I have 2 tablespoons of margarine in here, the full recipe would be 4 tablespoons. Okay? 4 tablespoons is how much of a cup? Well, you need to know how many tablespoons are in a cup. And there's 16 tablespoons in a cup. So you know that's 1/4 of a cup. I'm also going to put in 2 cups of marshmallows. So the actual full recipe is 4 cups of marshmallows. Okay? And I'm going to put in now 1/4 of a cup of peanut butter. So the actual recipe calls for, do you know what's twice of 1/4 of a cup? If you said 1/2 cup, you got it right. So 1/2 cup of peanut butter is the full recipe. Okay, so this is something I'm just going to stir until everything's melted together. If you've made very many things in the kitchen, you may recognize this same procedure as Rice Krispie treats. And even in Rice Krispie treats, they don't normally put peanut butter in, but sometimes I'll even put peanut butter in my Rice Krispie treats. You can use different kinds of cereal with this sauce that you're going to be making, this marshmallow sauce. So, it's melting. I have 2.5 cups of Cheerios measured out into this bowl. So the actual recipe calls for 5 cups of Cheerios. Okay, it's looking good. You can see what it looks like. All the marshmallows are just about melted. And as soon as they are, I'm going to take it off the heat, turn this off, and take it off the heat because I don't want this to get too hot because then it'll make my Cheerio bars a little too crunchy. Okay, I'm going to put in my Cheerios and stir that together. Now, the very last step is to put in the M&Ms, and I'm going to wait until I have the Cheerios pretty much all mixed together because the M&Ms have a tendency to crush and to break, so I don't want to do that. I've also got my pan over there ready. I've already sprayed it and I've got it ready to go. I'm using a Teflon pan to cook in so that it won't stick so badly, so I'm just going to put my M&Ms in and carefully mix those up. Doesn't take much. Grab my pan. Like I said, it's already been sprayed. And then I'm just going to dump this out into my pan. Put that on a cool burner so it can cool down before I wash it. And then voila, there we go with our Cheerio bars. Okay, and I'll eat this later. All right, so we've done our Play-Doh and our Cheerio bars, so now we're going to move over to some other child development type activities that in Facts 1, you've done a few of these things, and in my second hour class, you were going to be getting into, actually, you would have made the Play-Doh for the kindergartners that you were going to go teach teach and you've been making activities. So you can see here that we have lace cards. These lace cards are very easy to make, and they're teaching the ABCs on this one. And just the procedure, the practice of how to put something in, down, and then back up through the next hole. And they can be saying the alphabet as they're going. So this is a great learning tool. It's kinesthetic, and also they're learning the ABCs. So that's a fun one. Those are easy to make. I've got an example of a card here. You just need a hole punch, some yarn, and you're good. You can put numbers instead of letters if you'd like to do that. I also have the example of a little kid puzzle. We've made some of these before. You guys have made these in FACS 1, but I thought that you're at home, you might want to do a big kid puzzle. So you could get some coloring pages that you like, that you've done in the past, or a book that you have, and even make it two sides. You could do both sides, and then make the pieces a little bit smaller, and that way you've got a little bit more difficult and a little bit more that you can do there. Okay, so these are some other activities that you might be able to do at home. The last thing that I have for you to look at is our face masks. Now, I know a lot of you have been seeing face masks. I was just at the grocery store, and I think all but maybe one person was wearing a face mask. So when I started making face masks, I started off with the elastic type. So these are great if you're going to be doing these for somebody in the medical field. They probably are going to want 4 layers. So whoever you're making masks for, you might ask them, do you want 4 layers? What style would you like before you start making them? But this works. I like this one. I have this in the car because it's very easy to go on. And it just can open up like this, and the elastic is very easy. Now, these are sometimes difficult to get the right size for the person because you really don't know who you're going to be making it for. So I moved and elastic is hard to find. There's not very much elastic out there anymore. It's difficult to find to buy. So I moved to the next style, and that is just all fabric, okay? So this style, you just have to put your layers. These are 6 by 9 rectangles, and then they are 2.5-inch strips. And then you're going to make these tucks on each side of the of your mask to make it the right size. I try to get this right here to be about a 3-inch area. So anyway, this you can do a couple different ways. You could put this on and go around your head. And tie in the back here and here, and then take this and open it up and then go behind your head here. Here and here, and so you've got it like this. That's one way to do this particular mask. Another way that I like to do this particular mask is to tie it on the side so that you can make it kind of like your elastic. So you just tie a knot here on your side and here, and get it the size that you want, and just play with it until you get it the size you want to fit over your ears. Like, this one was too more like that. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Then the most recent style that I've been doing is the t-shirt. This is t-shirt materials. I made this from an old t-shirt, and then you just loop a piece of t-shirt material through here and then you put that on the back of your head, goes over your ears, across your nose, down, and then you can cinch this up on the sides to make it whatever size you want on the sides. Like I said, it's approximately 3 inches or so for adults, the side. And then tie it around the back of your head. So that one feels good. It's easy to breathe through. Sometimes when you are moving a lot and working a lot, the ones with the 4 layers of fabric can be a little bit more difficult to breathe through. So we've got a few minutes, so let's play with our Play-Doh. We're still working with the Play-Doh. That one, this one, like I said, it makes two balls of dough, but I was just going to, actually, let's play with some of this Play-Doh. What can we make with our Play-Doh? How about we make a little animal? We got a body. Little animal needs a head. Our little animal needs a nose. Maybe our little animal needs some ears. Does it look like a bunny rabbit to you? I'm thinking maybe it looks a little bit like a bunny rabbit. Let's put a little tail on our bunny rabbit. I have a green bunny rabbit. Another fun thing to do with Play-Doh, make little animals. Another fun thing to do with Play-Doh is to just cut out shapes. Like if you have some cookie cutters at home, okay. Well, guys, guess what? We have a lot more time than I anticipated. So I think we might just whip up some, if I can find the right ingredients, I think we might just whip up some pie dough. You guys like pie dough? I love to make pies. So I'm going to see if I happen to have, yes, I do. What do you know? My cord is kind of stretching. So I think in the 5 minutes that we have left, I can make you some pie crust. All right, if I want to make a single pie crust, like if I'm going to make a pie, like a pecan pie or something like that, I am going to use 1 cup. There it is. Oh, that had M&Ms in it. I'm going to use 1 cup of flour. Use 1 cup of flour. And I'm going to use, just let me do one thing because I was playing with Play-Doh. I'm going to rinse my hands off. I don't want to get Play-Doh in my pie crust. So I'm just going to put a little bit of salt in here. And I hope, yes, I do. I am so glad that I have some pastry blenders. This tool is called a pastry blender. So 1 cup of flour, a little bit of salt, and 1/3 of a cup of Crisco shortening is what I like to use for my pie crust. So 1/3 of a cup, this is the stick method again of measuring. 1/3 of a cup is 5 1/3 tablespoons. So I'm just going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1/3. It even has it drawn on there for me. 1/3 of a cup of shortening, and I'll put that into my flour. And then I just start doing this up and down motion of cutting in, is what this term is called, with your flour and your shortening. Just cut in. And I want to do this until I have about, all the shortening worked in, and it's small little pea-sized balls of shortening. Okay, so like I said, this is making a 1 crust pie crust for a pecan pie or a pumpkin pie or even like a coconut cream pie, or you could even do maybe a quiche or something else with a single crust pie. Okay, so after I've gotten that, I want to use around 1/3 of a cup. That cup has got blue water in it. We don't want blue water in our pie crust. So I'm going to start again, like with the Play-Doh. We are going to start with a certain amount and then kind of just work into it until it gets feeling like what we want it to feel like. I'm just going to start stirring in my water. Should take around 1/3 of a cup. Okay, put a little more here. Okay, so this is just another dough. Oh, I did mean to mention that Shawnee Mills Company has donated flour to the FACS departments this year for our food labs, and so I wanted to say thank you to Shawnee Mills for the donated flour that they have given the FACS teachers this year. And so you can see I'm just stirring that until it works itself into a ball, kind of like our Play-Doh. And if we have time, I'm going to get a spot here so that we can actually roll it out. Move everything over just a little bit. My cord is kind of restricting me where I need to go, but I've got to get on this side of the island to get my...
30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds. Okay, well, in 30 seconds, let's see if we can do this. Maybe, maybe not. So while we're finishing this up, while you're watching me, put a little bit of flour on your board and on your rolling pin. You want to put this into a circle, and then you're just going to roll it out. One last time, don't forget the bonus question for today, which is you need 3 balls of Play-Doh instead of 2. So alter the recipe and send me the recipe altered. We're just going to continue to roll this out, flipping it over, rolling it out until you get it the size you want. If I had a pie pan here, I could tell when I get it to the right size. When I do get it to the size I want, I'm just going to fold it in force and lay it into the pie pan. Thank you. Have a great day.
All she said